What if speed collides with impenetrability? What if the revolver's cylinder runs dry before the enemy hits the ground? Imagine a duel that never should have happened. Cowboy versus Knight. Who will win? A .45 caliber bullet or hardened Milanese steel? We are about to find out. Legends were told across the boundless plains of the Wild West about a certain gunman. He wasn't just fast, he was lightning. His hand drew his revolver faster than the eye could blink. He never missed, shooting flies off cacti at a full gallop. But ordinary bandits and sheriffs bored him. He craved a real challenge, a battle that would make his blood boil. In a saloon, he heard a strange tale from a terrified merchant. Somewhere in distant lands, in shady forests, lives an Iron Man. They say he came from a past era, and no bullet can take him. The gunman's eyes lit up. This was the target. He gathered his gear, checked his trusty peacemaker and worn leather duster, pulled his hat down over his eyes, and set off. His opponent was something else entirely. A knight of the late Middle Ages, a veteran of hundreds of battles. He was a living tank of his era. His body was protected by full-plate armor, the pinnacle of blacksmithing art. A smooth, gleaming cuirass capable of deflecting spear thrusts, a helmet with a narrow vision slit, and massive pauldrons. In his hand, he gripped a heavy steel shield, and at his belt hung his faithful bastard sword. He had seen wars the cowboy could not even dream of, and now he simply sought peace in the shade of an old oak tree. The main question of the day is, can a lead bullet from a revolver pierce a knight's hardened armor? Theory says one thing, but practice is something else entirely. The cowboy was an expert tracker. He read the earth like an open book. Deep tracks from heavy sabatons led him to a clearing. The knight was resting, leaning against a tree, his armor gleaming dully in the sun. The gunman stepped out of the shadows. He loudly announced his presence, stating he had traveled hundreds of miles to test his skills against the legendary armor. The knight, without even rising, refused in a hollow voice from behind his visor. He had no need for meaningless fights, but the cowboy was not used to hearing no. Smirking, he drew his revolver with lightning speed and fired at the shield standing next to the knight. The ringing clash of metal against metal tore through the silence. The bullet did not penetrate the shield, but left a deep, ugly dent, knocking it aside. The knight slowly stood up. His calm had vanished. He picked up his dented shield, unsheathed his sword, and took a combat stance. The cowboy laughed. "Now that's more like it." The deadly dance began. The cowboy understood perfectly. His advantage was distance. He backed away, circling the lumbering giant. The knight, sheltering behind his shield, began to advance inexorably. Bang! A shot! The cowboy aimed straight for the center of the chest cuirass. The bullet struck the steel but ricocheted, leaving only a scratch and a dent. But you cannot cheat physics. The immense kinetic energy of the impact transferred through the armor. The knight gasped. The deformation of the metal struck his ribs, possibly fracturing one. Pain pierced his chest, but he was a warrior accustomed to enduring the blows of warhammers and crossbow bolts. He simply grit his teeth and kept coming. The cowboy began to get nervous. The knight, despite the weight of his armor, moved with unnerving confidence. He covered himself with his shield, preventing any aim at vulnerable spots. The armpits or the helmet's vision slit. The cowboy realized chaotic shooting was useless. He had to hit the same spot to weaken the metal or find the gaps. But the knight was closing the distance too fast. There was almost nothing left in the cylinder. The cowboy counted every shot. 1! The bullet hits the shield, sending sparks flying. 2, 3. 2 consecutive bullets strike the cuirass. The second hits almost exactly where the first dent was. The metal cracks. 4! A bullet finally finds a weakness in the armor joint at the shoulder. The knight flinches, blood sprays, but his sword arm still functions. 5. A shot to the gut. The bullet punches through the weakened shield and enters the flesh beneath the cuirass. Blood oozes through the steel. The knight slows down, but adrenaline drives him forward. Click. The bullets were gone. The distance was only 10 meters. Reloading a revolver is a slow process. You have to eject the casings, insert new cartridges. There is no time. The knight sees the marksman's hesitation. Realizing he might not make it in time, he makes a desperate move. The knight winds up and with all his might, hurls his heavy sword like a spear. The cowboy, possessing incredible reflexes, dodges at the very last second. The heavy blade flies past by a millimeter, but the crossguard grazes his hand, knocking the revolver away. Pain and shock. In that instant, while the cowboy is losing his balance, the knight makes his final lunge. The distance is closed. No more shooting. No more tricks. Only brute force. The knight, carrying his momentum, delivers a crushing blow with the edge of his heavy shield straight into the cowboy's face. The sound of the impact is dull and terrifying. The cowboy drops as if cut down. The dust settles. The wounded, bleeding knight stands over the defeated gunman. The technologies of the future are powerful, and the revolver is terrifying. But today, luck, resilience, and good old-fashioned armor have prevailed. In this battle of the ages, the past emerges victorious.